As Hurricane Helene leaves crazy, obscene, gut-wrenching destruction behind, we now are faced with another hurricane as I shoot this video, Milton. It seems from the West Coast to the East Coast, whether it's tornadoes, floods, fires, we're not even dealing with earthquakes right now. There hasn't even been a major earthquake, but hurricanes, natural disasters just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And for us in the real estate business, we're noticing since the start of the pandemic to now, insurance costs has gone through the roof. It could be insurance for your car, for your boat, for your home, for your business, for anything. It just seems like insurance is getting out of control, unaffordable, and ultimately, where does this leave us for some of these parts of the country, whether it's California or Florida, where insurance companies are pulling out, saying we don't want to do business anymore? It doesn't make sense. And for me, as a loan officer, sometimes we're even having a challenge getting policies for certain homes. I'm hearing clients paying 3, 4, 5, 10 times what they used to on their home. So today we're going to break down some of the facts about the insurance industry, what's going on with these hurricanes, how's Florida dealing with it. And honestly, I was shocked when I heard this one statistic about flood insurance. The last Helene that just went through Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, West Coast of Carolina got destroyed. What percentage do you think were covered by flood insurance? My name is Kenny Simpson. I focus on 1 to 4 unit finance properties. I've been doing it 20 years, helped over 5,000 clients, funded billions of dollars of loans. And you might sit here and go, Kenny, why should I listen to you? Why are you shooting this video? And well, folks, it's because I love to educate the consumer. I love to educate my past clients. I like to let people know what's going on out there that has to deal with rates, real estate, economy, break it down, dumb it down so I can bring it to you, make it easy. And I've helped so many clients today and past that I have so many experiences to share. And so I feel that after 20 years of doing this, I need to share a lot of knowledge with you guys. So anyways, let's dive into it while you're really here. Let's talk about this insurance crisis that we're dealing with here in America and how hurricanes like Helene and this new one, Milton, is going to hit the west coast of Florida. It's not going to be good. As I shoot this video, it's literally getting ready to bulldoze. By the time this video comes out, it will have hit Florida. We'll know the damage. Pressing issue is that this is affecting millions and millions of people across the U.S. It's going to start to affect millions of people that need to get insurance. But then on top of that, this is going to start affecting prices in certain areas of Florida, potentially California, maybe Texas, wherever these outlining areas are where we're getting bad flooding, hurricanes, storms, fires, whatever it is it going to start affecting the housing market? And I think in Florida, after this next storm hits, I think we're going to start seeing it does affect, because in Maui, where they had those crazy fires, people had to fire sell their properties because they were not insured properly, just to get rid of them for the land value, to get out, take their money and go somewhere else. And that is what a lot of experts are thinking is going to happen in Florida here after this next round of Milton comes through, where the flooding's supposed to be worse. The surge is supposed to be maybe 1.5 to 2 times what it was with Helene. And so this stuff is getting out of control. So what the biggest problem is because insurance has risen so much in places like Florida or even California, where you cannot get the insurance, a lot of, for example, homeowners are underinsured. A lot of condo complexes at HOA are underinsured. With the condo collapse in Florida, there's more restrictions, like they're choking these HOAs to fix this, fix that, do that. It's tougher to get lending. It's just really becoming scary, this insurance probably, especially when you own a condo. And I hate to talk bad about condos, but they're not bad everywhere, folks. But because of one condo collapse, Fannie and Freddie changed their guidelines and restrictions that really, remember, they are the precedent for the rest of the lending market. They're the precedent for the rest of the lenders, the banks. So if they're doing something, they go, hell, we might as well follow. We might as well do the same thing. So they're just requiring a lot of disclosure, a lot of stuff to fill out, and they're leaving liability on the HOA, maybe the previous builder, maybe the insurance company. So a lot of lenders don't want to touch these deals. A lot of insurance companies are like, I don't want to insure you. And if I do, I'm hearing, for example, policies, listen to this. I'll give you 2 examples in California where they're paying $30,000 for their entire complex. The next time around, when they went to get insurance a year later, it was $250,000. I heard another complex where they're paying, somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000. The cheapest policy to get fully insured would have been $1 million. And the problem is you, the HOA, have to pay for it. So you, the homeowners, have to pay for it. So they have to assess you, and there's no money. So what are these condo complexes doing? They're just becoming underinsured. So if they get hit by an earthquake, a fire, a hurricane, or a major flood, you might not have enough money to replace the value of the property you live in. How scary is that? And this is all because insurance has gotten out of control. Yes, the insurance companies didn't realize as the pandemic went and the cost of everything went up, there was a report out that the cost to just repair things was 30% more today than it was before the pandemic. And they realized we were not bumping our policies up. So now we're going to whack you with them. We're going to hit you with it when that's going with car and house. And people are feeling this across the country. Some people, yes, I hear from like Kenny, my insurance hasn't changed. Okay, great. That is awesome. But for a lot of us, it has. It's gotten more and more expensive. Those that are residential, commercial, especially commercial, is getting crazy. It's getting insane. So let's take a look at Hurricane Helene. That just obviously came through. If you didn't know about it, that means you've been living on an island under a rock. That storm could cause just in Florida up to $34 billion. And here's the one statistic I was going to tell you. By the way, this whole hurricane across all the states could be hundreds of billions of dollars. Lost lives, lost businesses, lost generational wealth, lost commercial property, lost cars, boats, you name it. Just total destruction in some parts of town like they've never seen before. People still trapped down here. People still don't even have running water, electricity. It's insane, folks. But here's the crazy thing about that I was going to tell you. Only 1% to 2% of all these people that are in those flood zones, they have flood insurance. Even if you have flood insurance, it won't even cover it. So how do they rebuild? What do they do? What can you do? So in a place like Florida alone, the insurance has gone up 43% from 2018 to 2023. Just take a look at this chart. Look at this. Look at the U.S. premiums compared to a place like Florida. And California would be looking the same, the chart. The average homeowner in Florida now stands around $5,500, which is nearly 140% higher than the national average. And if you take a look at this map of the United States, you can clearly see where obviously the red and the dark, as you get darker in colors, that is the zones that's the most impacted by the storms. That is the most impacted by higher insurance. Higher places are going to result in storms or catastrophic events and things like that, natural disasters. But you can clearly look at it, which parts of the country are getting hit, which of the parts of the country are not. You can clearly see places on the West Coast like California, it's starting to tick up, it's starting to get hit. But look to the Midwest, you can see a lot of places that have the red and the dark, especially down there in Florida, they're getting hit by, the storms, the flooding, the tornadoes. Florida, obviously, over and over, just getting whacked by hurricanes, which is not helping their case with the cost of ownership on a monthly basis cost. And remember, this is the national average, folks. This is not for you if you're in California or you're parts of Texas or maybe parts of the Midwest or parts of Florida. Obviously, this is not it. And certain parts of Florida are worse than others, where, like I said, they're paying $5,500. That's not even correct. So if you're living in a place like Florida, insurance increased 43% from January 2008 to December 2023. Why does that matter for you to watch this video? Because wherever you're living, if a natural disaster comes through or something happens, your insurance will just go up because the cost to fix and repair things like those, for example, if we go back to this map, if you looked over here in parts of North Carolina and stuff that probably don't have much, their insurance is going to go through the roof. After getting whacked by something like this, it will change for a long time if you can even get insurance. Insurance companies are going to be completely wiped out up there that have these policies. I don't even know if they have the money to even get this done. And a lot of people wonder too, what's the problem like? Where is this coming from? Are we really dealing with change in the weather patterns? Are we really dealing with climate change? There's some people, half the people say there's no climate change. Half of the people say there is climate change. It doesn't matter, folks, because as I shoot this video, whatever you believe, you don't believe, the numbers don't lie. That insurance is going up. That we have where the insurance companies can't keep up. That is the major problem here. And the biggest thing is like take a place like California where you can't get fire insurance. You have to go through Cal Fire where actually the state started to do fire. Or if you're in a flood zone, can you get flood insurance? So the point of this whole story is that the problem is that as this continues to grow with more hurricanes, more storms, more natural disasters, more insurance companies are realizing that it's not profitable being in this city, this state, this county, and they're starting to back out. And that's where the problem is you're buying a commercial property, you're buying a residential property, you just can't get insurance. And this is a major, major problem. So only about 4% nationally of homes have flood insurance. And a lot of those people that have flood insurance are required to have it because they're in a flood zone. That's how they have to deal with it. That is the reality of the situation. They are in a flood zone and they are required to have it. Some people realize they just want it because just in case something happens, they want to have it to protect. But the flood insurance that you have, if you looked at, it might not be enough to cover your house. So what do you do in an event? It's unclear now. We will watch and see how this unfolds with Helene through the Carolinas and see how they recover. Who pays for it? Is the federal government going to step in and front the bill? But one thing I can tell you is, in wrapping up this video and giving some advice to you, is that insurance is a new game. Insurance is becoming a problem for most. I truly believe that over time, if this is where we're evolving, it's getting worse and worse and worse. The government's going to have to step in more and start helping places that you can see on the map that are clearly struggling with insurance. There's going to be some places in the country that are not going to deal with it at all. They don't really have claims. They don't have natural disasters. It's much easier for them to deal with. But if you live in parts of California or maybe Texas or the Midwest or Florida, this is going to be a constant battle for us. It's going to be a constant give or take with these insurance companies. But let me give you a few tips that if you are in these places of maybe how you can improve your insurance, what you can do to try to get better insurance, and be on the lookout. Number one is if you do any upgrades, anything to your house, make sure you let your insurance company know. Number two, if you have a broker, which I recommend, talk to your broker. Is there any programs, anything you can do? What can you do to get your insurance costs down? Number three, whether you're living in California or Florida, maybe you have enough money. You're like, hey, instead of my deductible on my car being at $500, I can make it to $1,000. Except my deductible on my house being at $5,000, I can move to $10,000 because you're comfortable with that. That could lower your premiums from 15 to 20%. Did you know actually carriers are now looking at your credit score? Yes, your credit score. So having better credit, you're going to get a better policy. I don't know what's up with that. It's crazy, right? But shopping around too for insurance and making sure your broker has your best interest in hand, that is important as well. And last but not least, when your insurance becomes up and needs to be renewed, don't wait till the very, very end to renew. Renew right away. But what I will tell you this, if you are buying a home in California or Florida or any parts of like this, and you're requiring flood insurance, fire insurance, and it's harder to get, make sure as soon as you get an escrow on that home, you give yourself a reasonable amount of time to get that insurance. For here in California, Cal Fire could take up to 1 month to get. It's definitely, so the day you get a contract, you need to be ordering that insurance. You need to make sure you work with a broker, insurance broker that is on it. Make sure your team is on this as well. So if you have questions about this, if you have questions about insurance, questions about, getting set up, is it right? You can always reach out to me. Also, if you have a mortgage, if you have an insurance broker, reach out to them and have conversation. You got to be more communicative with it. One of the tips I will give you with insurance brokers is the longer they've been in the game, the most likely they have better relationships with those insurance companies. So what I'm seeing is people that got in the insurance game in the last 5 years, they're not even able to insure anybody because the relationships they have were not very deep and wide, and no carriers they made relationships with, they're no longer even insuring. So the people that we use have been in this business 30, 40, 50 years. They have very, very deep roots in the insurance business. They have great relationships, not just with insurance companies, but with the underwriters of insurance companies. So when you need to get something done, you need exceptions, you need help, these are the people you want to work with. So go look just like now whether you're selling a house, you need a mortgage, or you need an insurance, and you're working with an agent, broker, insurance broker, loan broker, the more experience always tend to help you out the more. And if you have a situation, you need property, you definitely want to go work with the best. If I can help you, please reach out. Thanks for watching. Share this video with somebody that might be living in one of these places. Also, for more great videos like this, tips, and to keep you informed of what's going on there on the market, please subscribe, like the video. And hey, if you have any comments below or anything you want me to shoot, please respond. Love to hear your comments on this video. Thank you very much. Talk to you guys soon.